Welcome, this is Late Night with the Silva. Tonight we have some interesting guests like Carlos Fuentes, J.M. Katsuya, Arundhati Roy, and Shinoa Shebe. Our first guest, Carlos Fuentes, born in Panama in 1928, but raised in Mexico. Welcome.
Hi.
So tell me, what are your goals when you're writing a new novel?
Well, as you know, I write about foreign policies, but I also have problems with that when I want to get a visa. So the United States is always complaining about that. But I want people, Mexican people, to know what's happening, what's going on at the frontier, at the border. So principally that's what I'm looking for.
Oh, that's great. So please tell me a little more about your origins or your background.
Well, my father used to be a Democratic, so we spent our time flying to many places. But my grandmother in vacations, she used to tell me stories about Mexico, so I get used to the culture.
So tell me, are you working on a masterpiece at the moment?
Yes, actually, I have a point right here. I don't know if you want to hear it.
Yeah, please.
Well, it's also about the frontier, and it says, I'm going back to the border, where my aims might be achieved. With not a single paper in order, I hope I can succeed. There's another life at that side, with a language I don't understand, a nation full of a selfish pride, with a great wall well stand. We walk to work, we cross with no loss, with a breath that incites death.
Oh, it's magnificent. Thank you.
Thanks to you.
Oh, that was such a great interview, wasn't it? And now, please welcome to our next guest. He's Shinoa Shebe. Welcome, come here.
A pleasure to be here.
So, tell me about yourself, please.
Well, yeah, I was born in the 16th of November of 1930 in Nigeria, Ogidi, in a little Oikobo town. My father was a Christian missionary, and we were an English-speaking family, so we had a lot of privileges. I excelled at my studies and went to a medical university, but of course my life took another route.
Oh, that's great. So, what do you believe in?
Well, I believe that artistic and literacy must deal with the problems of society. They must criticize what we're doing wrong. And this is a big problem from Nigeria and other newly African nations, since all they know about us not so long ago was only told by the colonialists. In other words, the white people. So what I'm trying to do in my books is to tell the reality, our point of view of my people in the books.
Oh, that's fantastic. I would love to hear about a little more your culture, Igbo culture.
Well, I'd love to tell you more about my culture. In fact, there's this story that my mama used to tell me about this cunning and selfish turtle. We don't have a lot of time, but basically there was this turtle that knew about this feast that the birds were going to have in the skies. So he tricked the birds to take him to this place. Of course, then he persuaded them to get all the food in this place. After that, the birds, they all got mad with him. So they all left and took their feathers away from him. But he told the parrot to tell his wife to put soft things in the ground so he can jump without breaking anything. But maliciously, the parrot told the wife of the tortoise to put hard things. So when he jumped, he broke his shell. And that's why turtles have these patterns in their shells.
Oh, it's an interesting story, but it's a pity that all the world ignore all these interesting facts about your culture. Now, let's receive an amazing Indian writer. She's Arundhati Roy. She's a winner of the Booker Prize in 1997. Please welcome.
Hi, I'm so grateful to be here.
So tell me, what's the message you want to transmit?
Well, first of all, the book is a protest against the South Asian people who have these rules against all kinds of love. They tend to get in the way of love, and most of all, the book is about that message.
Oh, it's so amazing. Do you put some elements in your book about your life or inspiration?
Yeah, actually, the book is a little bit autobiographical. I put some things that I did myself when I was in a very young age. For example, I got out of my house when I was 16 and went to New Delhi to study architecture. And also, I got inspired by Gabriel Garcia Marquez. And because of this inspiration, the book has a little bit of his influence in the way I tell the story and how it's non-linear.
Oh, it's amazing. So, are you working on something at the moment?
Well, at the moment, no. I'm most of focusing on the political views that I have, and I want to invite other people to have these views or to maybe inspire people. As a matter of fact, I have a fan who sent me a collage, and
Oh, it's great.
yeah, it's amazing. In the first part, you can see the quote that I put in the epilogue that says, "Never again will a single story be told as though it's the only one." And that's very amazing because with that quote, I get to the reader to say that it's going to be a lot of stories put together. Also, we can see papachismo, that is all gray and black and stuff like that. The political influence that were going on in Yemen in that time, like the communists, and also a little bit of the social insecurities that were going on. Like, for example, we still have the caste system, even though it was forbidden at that time. But we didn't care because with the caste system, the social classes, and the love laws, it all comes together into making obstacles in order for love to conquer all.
Oh, it's amazing. So it seems that your fans are going deep into your work.
Yeah, I really love the fans, and I really admire how they get these ideas of the book that first of all, I didn't got them. So it's amazing.
And at last but not least, one of the most important writers tonight. He is James Coetzee. He earned the Booker Prize in 1999, and in 2003 he earned the Nobel Prize in Literature. So it's such an amazing writer. He's South African novelist, literary critic, linguistic, and translator at the same time. Please welcome. Hi. So tell me, what's your book Disgrace about?
Well, it's a story about a man who is involved in diverse situations and atrocious mistakes he made, even so he was an intellectual. And in the story, he have a process because of the mistakes, and he started living out the process of men, the white men that had lost power in South Africa because of the apartheid that it was in that time. And even so, what I was trying to show is more about like our animal way of expression of how men, even so we think they are like divine or intellectual, even so they still have desires to follow what they want and they do what they want to do. So we are just living like animals, as we can see in part of this book that you should read. Disgrace in the last part with Lucy. We have a big mistake, disgraceful events where she gets raped by two men and get pregnant. That is the best part because it shows how even so we have a really bad thing happening to us, we still like living the life. Even so she still wants to have a baby because it's their way of living.
Oh, it's so amazing. I think so. So we need to read it. I think so. Well, and I think you brought us something to show us.
Yeah, a fan sent me a drawing that it shows us how they imagine this race and part of the house of Lucy and the dogma. Well, as you can see in this drawing, you can see the different colors in each aspect of the grass. And we can see that in the lower part, the deepest, the one that is near the dog house, as we can see, is the house of Lucy, as they appear to make. This is the greener part of all that drawing. And even so, every time you start like looking near to the dog man house, it's turned to a place that is no longer a living thing. It's all dirt and just a few things that can manage to live. Even so, we can see how it's dying because it's a sense of how we control and we only choose what to live and what not to live. Even so, as you can see, the best part of this drawing is the rail of all this protection that it has, that it's showing us like it's a dog living inside of we can see the master's house that is living in the backyard, and even so it has his toys, his a lot of things, but it still is a dog house. It's not a house, not something that is better than something. It's something that is commanded by a master. And as you can see, the colors and all of this is a distinct part of what it's trying to say and how that we control life, and the only thing that we want to live, we will let them. Well, that's all that I can say. I suppose you can see all this drawing, and see all that details, and to like.
Well, that was all for tonight's show. So, if you haven't read any of these authors, you should do it. So, see you next Wednesday.